It was a cloudy day in Los Angeles, a little unusual for May, and since every day you can go to the Griffith Observatory or just any lookout and see a beautiful sunny horizon, I figured why not see what it looks like when the weather is dog trash. After I realized I was wasting my time, I met up with Kib and James. We're in the final stages of figuring out what our business is going to be. Unfortunately, Kib is in the beginning stages of figuring out how to navigate around the world. Fortunately, I had Kib added on Find Friends, and when I found out he was heading 2 hours south towards San Diego instead of our location, I rerouted him. I don't know if he expected to just somehow run across us in San Diego or what, or if he was trying to escape. There are just so many questions that I care not the answer to. So I wanted to stop by Sam's house today.
You guys eat already?
Oh my god. 2 seconds into the conversation, and I realized what Kib said the other day was right.
I have a solution. No one talks unless they have the talking podium.
That's not a podium.
Hold the one at a time on the podium.
So I wanted to go to my Sam's house today because I haven't seen him in a while. I figured maybe I'll see exactly what he's doing, catch up with him, you know, have a good time. Ever since these videos started building a name for James, he's forgotten all of his old friends. In fact, he's even gone as far as to tell me directly not to stare at him in the eyes when addressing him. He also makes me call him Dr. Mobley and the Crime. We finally made it to Sam's house, and I was very excited to see what he's been up to since Sourcefed Nerd ended. He's always been one of the hardest workers I've ever known. I couldn't imagine him not to have landed on his feet, but I was so wrong. There wasn't much of a light at the end of the tunnel for Sam. His day-to-day was taking care of children. I guess the only silver lining was at least he wasn't at Nerdist.
That's Liam, that's Jack, that's Mischief.
Hey guys!
And which one's this one right here?
This is Charlie.
Can I pet it?
That's my favorite one.
Very smart. I've taken its life force. That's when one of the kids tried to impress me. Here's something interesting about me. I'm more capable than almost any child. After demonstrating my worth to the boy, I doubled back on the girl who could potentially turn out to be the Rainmaker. Oh, such tiny hands.
Are you afraid of her?
I mean, there's definitely a power struggle.
I forget how many years it doubles with their age. Honestly, I think she's giving me weird vibes. I'm not really digging it.
You seem a lot different than you were at Sourcefed.
A lot more
Happier.
You seem like you're on Xanax, like
You're
on
on
Xanny
call?
bars now. Do you want a group hug?
Yeah.
Can I hug that child?
Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be just...
Nope, just me. Okay.
open.
My little small baby.
Hey.
I couldn't let Sam provide for these children, specifically this little girl. The idea of her growing to be more powerful than me was undeniably terrifying, so I did everything I could to make sure Sam was unable to be rehired. Sam, do you still believe in a liberal agenda?
Left or right? Left or right? Alt left, alt right.
Oh.
Hands down? Okay, Sam? Now we're gonna do a test. We're gonna put it out like that. We're gonna go like that. And then we're gonna go like that. And then we're gonna go like that. I secured my future. So Sam, I know people are trying to hire you right now. Well, I'm here to give you the best job offer you've ever had in your entire life.
Nice.
Assistant, my assistant. Kid, what do you do right now as my assistant?
I'm not your assistant. I'm your manager.
What do you think a manager does?
Manager, I've got 2 hands for sure.
What do you think an assistant does?
Assistant eats shit.
What do you
How
think,
much?
Sam?
What's your day rate?
The
Do you like date rape? After Sam answered yes to that question, I had to figure out his intentions with being my assistant. What do you think you're gonna get out of this?
From your offer of eating shit?
It's not just eating shit, Sam.
It's other
You didn't
awful
say-
things too.
Boys will be boys is an awful saying, but I like the movie Stand By Me, so we figured we'd go on a little boy adventure.
Dude, good to see you again.
Ouch.
Be on the other side, boys.
Wait, James, same time. I'm a goddamn ninja, boys. Just come in. Okay.
And just like any great boy adventure, we got ourselves into a little bit of mischief.
I don't want to touch him. What's wrong? Who undid my pants? What? Who undid my pants? You can go ahead. Do it. Help me down.
This is great footage, you guys.
Carry me.
You're welcome.
Do the wife hold. Quick. No, the wife. You don't eat the ass.
So we said goodbye to Sam, and because of his social stature now, I'm not sure if I will be hitting him up again.
That's where I know Sam from Sourcefed!
And now it's time for a mid-video advertisement brought to you by whatever company decided to put ads on this video.
Moving up the world, boy. Save a little cash on that YouTube money. Now I got new rims. Dude. Oh, Jesus.
So recently, a company called bidet sent me a bidet. If you don't know what that is, it squirts water into your butthole. I've always heard about these machines, but I've never actually tried one out for myself. Unfortunately, my pipes are all busted in my house. The plumbing is terrible, so I needed Kib, whose uncle is a plumber, to provide some sort of wisdom and maybe help me fix my toilet.
Get in. There's bugs, dude. There's so many bugs.
Dude, those are chips. That's a bug.
There's actually a surprising amount of little space here.
Complain more.
It would be super interesting if somehow we were able to win a Streamies.
Or the lottery.
Because then if we were an award-winning show, perhaps there'd be an easier
More
way
money.
No.
Tattoos. Oh, I'd be down. I want to get tattoos.
No, this is not, that's not what that...
Streamy tattoos. Matching streamers.
No, I would not get a Streamy.
Streamers.
I've provided a link in the description to vote for this channel in the Streamies. Imagine us on stage. Imagine the things we do. Now think carefully if that's what you want to see. Do you actually know how to fix, like, or not even fix, but like set up a toilet?
Dude, a horse. My grandpa's a plumber.
Pipe thread compound. We need pipe thread compound. Do you know what pipe thread compound? I could already tell this was going to go horribly wrong with Kip in charge of anything. I just hoped that maybe he would take this seriously for once.
Is this it? It's
Plumber's cock?
Still
He said that we needed thread. Something thread compound.
I think I see it.
What, really?
Yeah, I think I see it. It's back there.
Easy to use, clear, non-sag. Oh, not sag. You need fees.
10 cents.
Yeah.
So that's actually the stuff right here. Good job, James. I was just about to tell you that.
Butter.
Oh
I
my
grew
God.
up around here, guys. Like literally right down the street.
Brag a
So
bit
is
more,
this shopping
dude. Brag a
center
bit
or
more. I could easily eat quiche right now. Dude, don't fuck around. Don't fuck around. Oh.
Kip was very clear he needed a specific attire to do plumbing work. Unfortunately, that meant we had to stop at Walmart. Look guys, I'm Parker.
Too small. Too fitted.
After 13 grueling minutes, we finally found the clothes for Kib's plumbing outfit.
2468. Do we appreciate Santa?
I never put in these rhymes.
On to the next one.
Where are we going? Where are we going?
To school.
It smells like Harry Potter's pudding
Smells
butter.
like someone burnt a banana and dipped it in wine.
It smells like I can't believe this isn't Harry Potter's butter.
Smells like I can't believe this isn't my butthole butter.
It smells like butterbeer if it were Harry Potter's butthole. It smells like Benjamin Button's hairy butthole combined with Harry Potter's big fat Greek wedding. I love seeing what Kib knows about the world that he lives in. Previously, he thought that Bernie Sanders was the Prime Minister of Canada's dad. Did you guys hear about James Comey?
No, what happened?
Do you know who James Comey is?
Yes.
Yeah, director.
Yeah, who's James Comey?
The director.
Of what?
FBI.
FBI.
No, don't tell him. What do you think about him being canceled? Fired.
I don't care.
It was times like this I really missed working at Sourcefed, talking about different occurrences in the world. Instead, conversations about news events now just turn into James and Kib doing a Seth Rogen impression. That's a right here. It was finally time to get the machine that squirts water into my butthole fixed.
What the
How did you switch outfits that?
Told you, grandpa's a plumber. Sometimes you gotta be ready. Sometimes you're ready.
It's like the worst version of any superhero. Do you put the plumber's cock on afterwards, or do you do it before?
It's pronounced clock. Are you ready for this, dude? Good luck.
I'll lead left. Grandpa's a plumber.
Where the hell did my, well, there's
Take
a...
a wee peek at this there.
Do you have the T adapter thing that I just gave you with the... You put the toothpick or
No. Common workplace accident. Things get jumbling around. A lot of
No. An accident. You
just
you
had
where
it.
is it?
lot
You
of
just had it.
lot of emotion.
But no, there are no
I
emotions.
lost it.
So we drove back to Home Depot to finally get this bidet building underway. Do you have the piece now?
Yeah.
Are you?
Okay, do you...
Oh shit.
We just went to Home Depot to get a new piece and you don't have it again?
They're a trick to charm. No, I don't.
You have so much of it.
That's the adapter T.
What is this? Keep it handy. Oh, it's on my nut. Oh, you're pulling a nut up.
You alright, dude? Jeez.
I'm fine.
So you need to put the adapter around to the... Nope, nothing to do
No, you
with
don't
it.
need to be in there.
She's ready to roll. You gonna complain more?
No, I'm not gonna
Or
complain
am I
more.
gonna fix this thing?
It's up to you, honestly. Just...
Pokey.
Kib couldn't break through the seal of the plumber's cock. I was about to try for him, but James took it and bit the entire top off.
Oh! Jesus, dude, you gotta watch your tongue after that. For it to be on your tongue is just unpredictable. I can't believe it.
Burning.
Are you okay? I feel like it's not supposed to be dripping.
Listen, I'm gonna teach you how to do this, so next time,
You won't have to.
you can have me over. Well, first, twist that there, turn it clockwise.
Clockwise? Okay.
No, other way.
Turn
Cut it off!
I'm trying to
That's the last time I have you do my dirty work.
Actually, this has a Phillips head. James, Phillips head! Phillips head!
Phillips
I'll get him.
dog.
I'll go get him. Philip! Philip! Come here. Where is he, dude?
No. So there's honestly, there's nothing you can do? Why do you not have a shirt on?
It got hot in here.
I knew I couldn't trust him. I thought he was getting smarter. He learned a little bit of science recently, but I trusted him too much. God damn it!
What?
God damn it! I trusted you again! You're the worst friend. I was so frustrated, I threw one of my prized possessions in the toilet, my Sourcefed hat.
Dude, Sourcefed got canceled and now this? Oh no,